Zorah, before we get into those leftovers, I'm going to ask you to weigh in on this ongoing trifle debate. Some people love it, some people loathe it. Our own Miss Universe, Zozibinzi Tunzi, has said she has a view on that too, and also Beetroot. What's your take on trifle?
I feel like it's a never-ending debate with trifle. It's a classic. It's a traditional dessert. It's a no-go for me, personally. I just feel like there's too many textures going on. But I think if you can do it, then you know what? Own it. Why not?
Now, trifle's one of those desserts that's quite difficult to revive the next day after the cream's kind of settled in and the cake's gone a little goopy.
I do, yes.
Do you have any tips on that one?
I honestly think that if you are going to try and have trifle the next day, remove all the cream at the top completely, just take it off, and the next layer under the cream should be the cake to basically soak up all of that, and then just add a fresh new layer of cream. I don't really think it'll taste much of a difference, especially if you heat it and add whipped cream afterwards. It'll become like a warmer dessert.
All right, well, let's work our way back to some of those main dishes that people might have hanging around in their fridge after Christmas lunch. What do we do with meat dishes, maybe some sides of vegetables? How do we revive those today?
So I think a few recipes that come to mind is like a nice simple ramen. It's a nice brothy dish. You can have it with any kind of meat. So it really doesn't matter what you're having on the day, lamb, chicken, even fish, prawns, shrimp. It works very well with that. And if you're going towards, I think, more chicken, we could do a crumb chicken with some buttermilk, eggs, flour. It's very simple, a quick fry in the pan. Doesn't take much effort at all. And with some sides, I think, like, for example, everyone has baked potatoes, usually. And basically smash them up, have a harissa sauce and some yogurt, basil pesto as a drizzle. It sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple. And it can be reused over and over, so it doesn't have to be a fresh baked potato, you know. You can just smash it down and make a rusty even. It's quite simple.
Now, Zorah, I hear you advising to throw in some nice flavoursome sauces. You speak of harissa paste, for example, also pesto. So is that a way of trying to sort of boost the flavours of maybe those dishes that get quite neglected at the dinner table during holidays?
Yeah, I do think so. And you know what, if everyone's still reeling from a big lunch, then you kind of want to revive it with a completely different flavor, completely different taste palette. And pesto isn't usually something that you actually have on a typical Christmas dinner table or lunch. So adding something like harissa, sun-dried tomato, pesto, these fresh flavors are actually really nice for the next day, and it gives a completely different spin on what you had for lunch or dinner the day before.
And if anyone has puff pastry lying around in their freezer, what can they do with that?
Oh, that's like my favorite thing. So puff pastry is a great way to add a really pretty looking dessert or savory to your table. And I'm thinking if you have left over any kind of meat and a little bit of sauce, a cranberry sauce, tomato, even a mushroom bake, just to add a little bit on top, sort of move your puff pastry just around it and encircle that and just bake it, you know, at 180, maybe 20 minutes, not even, until it nicely puffs up, and that's literally a savory. You know, it's like having a samosa or a pie the next day. It's very easy, it's very quick, doesn't take much effort at all.
Those are some great tips. Just before we let you go, Zorah, can you tell us what's hanging around in your fridge today after celebrations yesterday?
Today I have a lot of like meats, a lot of sausages, and our baked potatoes are definitely there. So it's still quite a lot. I feel like there's a lot of food that can be had today that's just going to be reinvented into a whole new meal for lunch.
Well, you've certainly given us some good tips there. I've especially enjoyed the advice on reviving a trifle. Zorah Booley, thank you for your time from Cape Town on how to revive those Christmas leftovers.